Welcome, everybody in chat and out there in YouTube land. That's right. We're going to roll off our first topic right off the rip. Our first topic is Sasha and Naomi Banks walking out on Raw. That happened about a week and a half ago. Big Stan, you got any thoughts or any insight basically any inside detail on that?
From my understanding, basically what happened was Sasha Banks and Naomi were unhappy with a storyline that was on Raw that they were going to be a part of, and they went to Vince McMahon to try to get the whatever the outcome was supposed to be, try to get it changed or however that was supposed to go. Vince McMahon was in full agreement with creative that night. He didn't want to change anything that was already decided. Therefore, leading to Sasha Banks and Naomi going to John Laurinaitis. And they just basically let him know that they were going to turn in their women's WWE Tag Team Championships and they were going to leave. And nothing's been heard from them since. And since then, they have been officially suspended indefinitely by WWE management. So this entire situation is still pending on what the status is with Naomi and Sasha Banks at this given moment. And I'm just standing by and watching closely for any updates that might just so happen to pop up as this situation goes on.
Right. Well, Darren, for all you out there, we will do introductions later. We're just ripping right off into the topic now. Darren, we've all been watching wrestling for a long time, and it's not the first time that people have walked out, day of the show, after the show started. It's kind of how it is, when you got the card says right on there, subject to change, so sometimes it happens. Them as a company, they know it's going to happen from time to time, and it has happened from time to time. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on maybe, it's nothing new, but it's something to happen, it's something that just recently happened.
Yeah, so most of the time, from my background, seeing when wrestlers walk out, they do it kind of to screw the promoter over, mostly for money. Like a lot of the times, it's because they dispute over pay or they didn't get paid what they were initially told or whatever. Now you do get times where somebody was promised the belt and like the promotion kept jerking them around. They never got that title shot or whatever they were promised. But it's very rare for me, and from what I've seen, where they just walk out, especially on a company as big as the WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it nowadays, where they normally settle that stuff out of kind of behind closed doors, whether Vince throws them more money to do whatever he wants them to do or anything else. Like normally they have handled that much more professionally from the WWE side, WWF side, to appease the wrestler, at least to get through the show. And then they will rework it from there or whatever. So I think it was interesting that the fact they couldn't do anything to appease Sasha and Naomi. So like normally a company as big as the WWF, whatever you want to call it, they normally, hey, let's get through this show. Let's make it right for this show, then work through it from there. So
that's funny you say that. Like out of Roddy Piper's words, one time he said the WWEFG, whatever they're deciding to call themselves. I thought it was funny. That's a direct quote from the man who's all out of bubble gum. Was it?
But raw.
So, Big Stan, with what Darren just said, I think he's pretty much right in the money. With you as being an insider to the business, we don't know the full story about what's going on right here. You know what I mean? We're not within the know. I know a lot of people are upset because they walked out. It happens. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on people being upset because they let everybody down?
Yeah, normally my main concern is the fans and wanting to make sure that I'm doing everything possible to keep the fans satisfied, keeping them wanting to come back, you know, to the shows that I'm involved in, especially, you know, in Southwest Pro Wrestling, where, like you saying, I am very hands-on with a lot of the behind-the-scenes happenings and everything like that, man. I just, me personally, I try to keep business on the up and up, so to speak. Whenever you walk out on a company, on its promoter, as Mr. Darren just specified, you know, that's just, it's not good business all the way around. If there's a way that you can resolve the problem before it bleeds over into the show, you know what I'm saying? It's always better to be able to do that. But in this particular instance, everything took place, from my understanding, mere minutes before the show was getting ready to go on the air. It was within minutes that they didn't get a chance to come to any type of agreement or whatever on how this match was going to be set up and how it was supposed to play out. And again, you know, Sasha Banks and Naomi's ultimate decision was to relinquish their WWE Women's Tag Team Championship and walk out. I don't know what their contract status is at this moment, which that's another question, you know, is what's their contract details? What does that contain as far as them being able to possibly go into another company anytime soon, or would they just have to sit out the duration of the WWE contract? Because a lot of times WWE does include what they call a non-compete clause, which means you cannot go into another company for X amount of days and work for them. So again, that's why I say all of this kind of stuff right here is what I'm trying to find out, you know, in order to kind of predict where the next move might end up. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
To both of you guys, do you think it's a possibility that maybe not right now, but later down the line they can come back to the WWF, GE, whatever?
I'll take that one first. We've all seen it happen time and time again. People who say, I'm never coming back here. Everything always circles around. Do I think they'll be back? If they continue to wrestle their whole life, they'll probably be back at some point in time. I mean, we heard a lot of people say they never come back to the WWE, and they end up all coming back, man.
Yeah, man. You know, a performer's market value to a company, especially one such as WWE, has a lot to do with if they'll be able to come back or not. You know what I'm saying? Like it depends on how much this individual is worth to the company, to the fans, things of that nature. That's what's going to pretty much determine if they'll be able to return. I don't know if they'll be able to return and not have to face some sort of reprimand, being that they're already under suspension. But it just depends on how much money these two individuals are bringing into WWE as of right now. You know, how much of a draw are they to the company? Let's take CM Punk, for instance. When he left, believe me, WWE stretched out as much time as they could to try to work a way to get him back into the company during his time that he left, you know, when he was on hiatus or whatever. And of course, ultimately, it never happened. It never actually worked out where WWE was able to get him back in a in-ring capacity. So again, with this type of situation right here, I think it's just going to depend on how much these two women actually mean to the WWE market. because they answer to a lot of stockholders and things of that nature. So I just feel like at the end of the day, that's what the deal is going to be about with them.
All right. Like Diamond says right here, kind of like if you put your 2 weeks notice in, you know what I mean? In a perfect scenario, damn straight, yeah, always try to be respectful and put your 2 weeks notice in. But WWE is a company that deals with people. Anytime you deal with people, you're going to have complications. So, that just is what it is. I mean, even though it's been news the last week and a half or a little over a week or whatever, that's it. There's always news. There's always something popping with wrestling or anything because it's people involved. You're always going to have that people factor. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Definitely.
So, all right. So, before we go on with our next topic, which is Ric Flair's upcoming, let's say, farewell match, I want to go ahead and give a shout to the chat. We got M3 Reviews in the house. McDJ ACDC. We got Diamonds. D Money. Zelda Diecast Racing. Let's see. Northeast Ohio Diecast and Treasure, man. Wanted to welcome everybody in. Simple Customs by Eddie. What's going on, Fast Eddie? Good to see you here, sir. So
yeah, what up? What's happening? Everybody is swinging and banging with us here in the chat on the 3 live stream, baby. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, my buddy Batista bombed me on a trampoline once. I don't know what that's all about, but hey, Northeast Ohio is a good dude, man. So, before we get talking about our next subject, our next topics, I want to go ahead and let everybody know, introduce everybody. Tonight we got with us our special guest, Darren, Dare 2727. What would you like to tell the people about yourself, Dare? I'll tell everybody he's a really great guy. Really respectful, enjoy his content, and always respect his opinion. So, what's good, sir?
What's up, everybody? Dare 2727. I mostly on YouTube do Transformer reviews, and so I love wrestling. So I'm thrilled to be on here because this gives me a chance to stretch my wrestling legs a little bit. I don't get to talk wrestling, especially retro wrestling, with a lot of people. Basically, I grew up 80s, 90s. Territorial wrestling. I grew up in Atlanta, born and raised, and so like I used to see all the WWF and NWA stuff for free because they used to film in Atlanta. So like all the matches with they kids could go free or whatever. Basically, they were free taping. So I would go there all the time. Saturday nights was Joe Pedicino, Bunny Blackstone. Watch Memphis, World Class, AWA, any wrestling promotion you could think of. It came on. Grew up on it. That's how I live my life. Up until probably the Attitude Era. I think the Attitude Era was the last era where I was like fully throttled investing into it. So, I still peaked my head into wrestling, but not like I was retro times or whatever. So, but basically 80s, 90s, 2000s wrestling fan. Love it. Still love it. Can talk about it all day. So, and thank you for letting me be on first and foremost.
Hey, thank you for being on. Hey, I appreciate everybody on. Big Stan, appreciate it. Definitely. Jeff Brummett says, yo, everyone, been looking forward to this episode. Hey, we've been looking forward to you being here, Jeff. What's up, banger? All right, so Big Stan, I know you got some events coming up and you want to tell some people about yourself.
Yeah, basically, Big Stan Harris. I do everything from hobbies and collectibles to do-it-yourself, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You name it. I try to do it myself if all possible. My YouTube channel, BSH TV, pretty much consists of everything that I do love to be involved in, from the hobbies, collectibles, and professional wrestling. Of course, I'm a professional wrestler by trade. I've been a professional wrestling enthusiast ever since I knew what it was. Back when I was 3-4 years old, I would go as far as to say 3 or 4 years old. I've been in the professional wrestling ever since. Mainly came up watching World Class Championship Wrestling and Mid-South. If anybody, and as I can see, my man there, he already knows what it is. You know, when I bring that up, which that's my territory, which is the Texas and Mid South area. So yeah, man, I mainly grew up watching that, along with the occasional WWF, where we could get Saturday night's main event up until like the mid '80s, when when we were able to get the USA Network, and that's when I was able to start watching WWE or WWF at the time. Every Monday it was WWF Superstars, hosted by Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. All right, the legendary Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, and again, everything just kind of went on from there. I've always watched the NWA from Georgia every Saturday, 6:05. You know what I'm saying? I was always locked in the '80s. You know, of course, with the man that we're highlighting tonight, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Rock and Roll Express, the Koloffs. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, I could go on forever talking about the old school wrestling. So again, you know, that's about as quick as I can go as far as my background is concerned.
Yeah. Like Diamond says, agreed. I think I kind of stopped watching around the Attitude Era. You know, I think there's a lot of people who did. And that's what's great for me to be on with Big Stan and be his friend and just be around him a lot. Man, I'm finding out there's a lot of good wrestling.
And my bad, I forgot to mention I am a professional wrestler now by trade for the course of 7 years now. So I'm pretty sure I was supposed to mention that as well.
Yeah, I got a segment here in a second we're going to get to let everybody know just where they can find you and what's going on, because we have a special upcoming event that we definitely want everybody to know about. But before we go ahead and hit that, I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know what my background is. I'm an automotive technician my whole life. I collect action figures, die-cast. I got into wrestling in the late 90s, around 97. And the reason it was never any earlier than that was my childhood was pretty shielded. I didn't have the opportunity to do a lot of things. Like, you know, as an example, I didn't watch the first Star Wars film to the mid 90s. You know, that stuff just wasn't available to me. You know, 80s wrestling. Now I go back and watch what I can, but that's my background. And, you know, through the late 2000s, early 2010s, I kind of faded off. But as I got to know Big Stan, I watch more and more. Frequently in with some AEW, more and more in with WWE. I feel like their show is getting better. I feel like maybe they're not getting enough credit that they need to be, because the show is getting better. The wrestlers are pretty good. They have a high standard to uphold to. When you're talking about the era of Harley Race and Ric Flair, Hogan, you know, and all the 90s people, Sting, Stone Cold, HBK, you know, then you got Batista. The level of the bar is high. That bar is high. So it's going to be hard for anybody to meet those expectations. So sometimes maybe you need to bring them down. It's not going to be the Attitude Era, but there is some good content to be seen and some really great athletes. That's kind of my background. Let me see what we got going on in chat. Yeah, we got George Animal Steel for sure. Ricky Steamboat Dragon. You know, side note, huge person, Texas. Oh, you know, we definitely do want to be thinking about that. I did think about having a moment of silence, man. Some of the stuff going on in the world is very disheartening. Yes, sir. We do appreciate everybody hearing to that, man. It's a fucked up deal. I think the world tries to strip us of our humanity, but what I do here and what Big Stan's a part of, and I know what Darren's a part of, we ain't gonna let them strip our humanity from us, man. We're gonna fight and be together and be as strong as we can, you know. And you didn't see that and feel a certain way, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like right now, you know, it makes me feel a certain way thinking about that. So prayers to everybody involved with that deal. All right, so with that being said, I'll get caught up in chat for a second, but we got some topics. But before we got topics, we got to address this, and we'll do the Ric Flair topics. We have a special upcoming event that I'd like Big Stan to go ahead and let everybody know about.
All right, next Friday night, as you can see posted here, it's going to be the return of Southwest Pro Wrestling at the Redbone Magic Brewing Company in Texarkana, Texas, with Showdown at the Brewery, featuring the man called Rage, Miranda Gordy, second generation daughter of fabulous Freebird Terry Gordy, Niles Plump, the wrestling extraordinaire, the SPW heavyweight champion, Cowboy Jeremy Young, also Conor Vega, and last but not least, yours truly, the Texarkana wrestling champion, the first ever Texarkana wrestling champion, Big Stan Harris, the professional wrestling machine, the Super Destroyer, will be there live, direct, and in full effect, ready to go upside whoever dares to step up to the plate and challenge me for the drip shown right here for you right now on the 3 live stream. There has been an open challenge issued to every single individual on the Southwest Pro Wrestling roster for this right here. And I'm just waiting on the promoter, Al Henderson, to go ahead and release the information. Go ahead and let me know who the man is that's going to step up and get the beatdown of a lifetime. Because if you think that you're going to get your grubby paws on this right here, baby, back again. Because this championship is mine, and it is mine forever. And that's all that I'm going to say about that for right now. Yeah.
There it is. The man himself, man. If you have the opportunity to get out there and support him, please do. Southwest Pro Wrestling, I've had some talks with Big Al. Big Al's a great guy, the promoter that runs the outfit. And, man, they got a lot of good talent there, a lot of good people, man. It's exciting to see it back in action. Yeah. All right, so hold on a second. Get out of there. We are live, so guess what? All right. Let me get caught up in chat. RoboCop saves team. 2 months or so. McDJ says, really enjoyed the Lucha Underground wrestling. Yes, sir. You want to talk about athletes?
Yeah, I actually had the opportunity to be on the card with Mil Muerte of Lucha Underground back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was on the card with him at least 3 times. Yeah, very, very nice gentleman and a hell of a professional wrestler, a hell of a luchador in all respects.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into this topic, what we all came here for. Ric Flair's return for his farewell match, which is supposed to take place July 31st at 6:05 Eastern Standard Time. I do believe at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Let's go ahead and take it from there. Why don't we let Darren go ahead and give his thoughts? Maybe we're gonna have a lot of different thoughts and opinions on this, and we'll go back and forth pretty well. Why don't you go ahead, Darren, and tell us what you think about Ric Flair's upcoming farewell match?
Okay. Before I give my thoughts, I just want to ask a question, because do anybody know who his opponents is? Because I heard it was going to be multiple people. I know they said Ricky Steamboat, and Ricky Steamboat said he's not going to wrestle. I know they were saying the Rock and Roll Express. Yo, sorry, Big Stan. Go ahead.
No, you good. As of today, I just ran across an article that said the Immortal Hulk Hogan is coming out of retirement. Hulk Hogan at 68 years old. Everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. He doesn't need a whole lot razzle dazzle put on his name. So as of right now, it has been speculated heavily that it's going to be Hulk Hogan.
Okay, because it's so. Let me start with the good. The good is, is Ric Flair's the icon. He's my personal GOAT or whatever. Like, I think that he's helped carry wrestling to heights that nobody would ever thought of in the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. Like, I think he's one of those people. But I think the practical part of it is, I mean, when he just on like his deathbed like a year or two ago or whatever, like he got a pacemaker in him, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And so, like, I think it's cool in concept, but I don't know how much in theory it really is. Like, how much work can he really do? You know what I'm saying? He's 74 years old, can't really take any bumps. I know he's been doing a lot of stuff with Jay Lethal, and, I'm sure everybody saw the videos circulating on the internet with him, getting back into the ring, training and stuff. But he can't possibly do that much stuff, right? I mean, can he? I guess that's more a question to you guys. Can he do that much work? Like, if it's a singles match, it can't go no more than 10 minutes, right?
That's going to all depend on Rick and his cardiovascular status as of right now. According to Rick, he is in the best shape he's been in a long time, in which I know he has been working out. He's been doing a lot to try to get himself to this point ever since he had that last big health scare. And again, let's just give the devil his due, man. This is the nature boy we're talking about. We're talking about a man that survived the plane crash and came back and became the greatest of all time, just to sum it up. This most recent health scare, of course, nothing to take lightly, but I have to give him credit for what he has already done. I just think that at the end of the day, I'm in full support of what he's feeling inside to want to come back and give the fans, and I'm sure he has something that he needs to prove to himself, for this particular event and everything. I just want him to be at peace when all of this is over with. He doesn't have anything to actually prove to anybody, as far as wrestling and his ability to go out and put on a good show. I already know he's going to do that. He's not going to fail. He's not going to go out there and look like trash and make whoever he's in the ring with look like trash. He's going to go out there and he's going to be Ric Flair. He's going to be the nature boy. He's going to look like $1 million, and whoever's in the ring with him is going to look like $1 million too. That's pretty much my input on that.
Well, how I feel about it is sometimes a man, that's all he knows. We see a lot of people, athletes, race car drivers, anybody that's done something their whole life. It doesn't even have to be sports related, man. It could be a person who's worked their whole life, 50 years, whatever, and all of a sudden you don't have it no more. It's just in your blood. Is his age up there? Yeah. Do you worry about him getting injured? Yeah. Does he have a higher chance of being injured? Yeah. But he's confident in himself, and I'm not going to question that. He's done a lot in his career to make me say, you know what, if this is what he wants to do, then congratulations to him, and I just hope it makes him happy, and more power to him. I heard about the Hulk Hogan thing. I didn't know it's not for sure yet, but I had heard about that. Like, if we're talking apples to oranges, I mean, just for me, I understand Hulk Hogan is an icon, but I roll Ric Flair every day of the week, son. Woo!
Yeah, Hogan's very low on my list. I can respect what he did for the industry or whatever, but like, if you were just asking me to kind of rank people, Hogan may not even make my top 5. So like, I'm Flair all day. So like you, P.A.K, I'm team Flair all day. And I was just saying that from the standpoint, going back to my original thing, was that you said it best, Pat. Like, and even quoting the Ric Flair angle when they trotted out Buddy Landell as a fake Ric Flair. Like, basically, they told him nobody knows. No, the last person to know that the pack is caught up to him is the one that's leading the pack. And Ric Flair's led the pack so long, he may not have known that people caught up. And so, like, you know, I know he has nothing to prove. He's going to give it his best, and maybe this is something he needs to prove to himself. I just don't see, you know, in my limited wrestling knowledge, what capacity could they really use him in where he can give the Ric Flair type of show. Because, like, comparing Ric Flair, the GOAT, to, like, you know, any other wrestler who come out and wrestle at 70, that's a different standard, right? Like Ric Flair, we know him for going to 60-minute matches. We know him for just as much as we know him for the woo and the limo driving, you know, jet flying son of a gun. We know those great matches, right? Like he can drag anybody 60 minutes and make them look good. He can put anybody over who needed to be put over. And like, I don't know. I know he can't. I know he's not doing that at this age. I just wonder what style of match would happen at this age for him. Like it would almost be, in my mind, it would almost be good for it to be a tag team match and he get the hot tag and save the day or something like that, and go out like in that realm.
Yeah. Just a second. Jeff Brahman, we see a question about Braun Strowman. That might be a topic for another day, sir, but I do see you.
Yeah, there, to my understanding, it's still supposed to be a 6-man tag match altogether. It's going to be Ric Flair and FTR, if I'm not mistaken, versus, as of right now, the Rock and Roll Express and Hulk Hogan. So we'll see. It's yet to be determined, yet to be confirmed, but that's what it's looking like as of right now. So again, you know, that adds to your statements. You know what I'm saying? I'm interested to see what all he will incorporate in this match. That's it. You know, what will he do? You know, right. I'm not as opposed to what can he do. It's like, what will he do? You know, because he's good enough to do whatever he needs to do in order to keep himself looking good in there. You know, so it's just going to be a matter of, you know, what all will he bring out that night? You know, what will we get at 73 for the Nature Boy?
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. There must be some sort of glitch with chat. I don't know what happened to M3 being bounced out, but you never get blocked for me, bro. So I'll have to try to figure out what happened with that after the show, son. Let's see. Diamond says, I heard Scott Steiner. Have you all heard anything about that? Go ahead, Darren.
I haven't heard Scott Steiner, but back to Big Stan's point, I read Rick and Morty makes perfect sense. Cause I know, like in his book, he always said Rick Steamboat and Rick and Morty were the two most gifted people he worked with. Like, to be the man book, I kind of read that. And so, like, if it wasn't gonna be Ricky Steamboat, the Rock and Roll Express was still wrestling, so that makes sense. Like somebody had heat with back in the 80s. That makes some sense. It may be Steiner. I know Steiner still wrestles from time to time or whatever. It's just, I would think that like he would do something for nostalgia's sake. Somebody who he had some type of something with. And kind of back to Big Stan's point, what he can do, well, we know he can do is one of his most iconic things, right? Like the chop. As long as he lift his hand, he can do a woo and give somebody a chop, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think exactly he can do his strut. He can do most of the stuff. Like the stuff I was saying I was worried about him is taking bumps or whatever. Like the iconic thing. Of course, he can't run into the ring and flip over the turnbuckle like he did when people threw him into it. But I'm sure he can do all the other stuff. Like if somebody hit the ground, he could get him in the figure four, whatever. So like the most iconic things about him he can do is just kind of the Big Stan's point. How will he be able to do those things? So
yeah, Big Stan, this guy, like he's from the old school. He was wrestling the hardcore legends, Harley Race, Devon Eriks, you know, Dusty the Dream. You know what I'm saying? He's come from the era where men were men, bro. So I got to think that maybe those bones are toughened up a little bit over all these years, because he's taking some licks down the road for sure.
I honestly feel like this match will just completely solidify his passion for the business. Because what other man is willing to go out the way that Ric Flair is about to go out? You cannot question his love and his desire and his overall respect and whatever this business has done for him, he is willing to give it all back at this point. He has always been the guy that I have referred to when it comes down to respecting the wrestling business in the sense that I do. I don't want to do anything to make wrestling look stupid. I don't prefer to do anything to make wrestling seem as if it's some sort of circus clown act. You know what I'm saying? And all of this goes back to guys like Ric Flair, guys like Dusty Rhodes, you know, because that was the era that I actually came up in, thankfully. So therefore, my approach to this business and this sport is I very much consider it being a sport, because you cannot do this just walking off the street. I see a lot of people trying, but you can't. You got to have a special level of athleticism about you to be able to pull off these moves, to be able to endure the pain, to be able to endure everything that comes with being a professional wrestler. And all of that goes back to when I studied Ric Flair, studied his desire, studied his passion, studied his will, and everything that he did in order to put the level of prestige that is into wrestling that he put into it. All the years on the road, all the years on the planes, flying back and forth from country to country, you know, doing everything to legitimize this business that we know and love as professional wrestling. Ric Flair has a lot of responsibility for that. And I feel like now he wants to just basically give all of that back and leave it for the next whoever, Nature Boy or whatever that's to come behind him. If you could somehow get as close to filling his shoes, and don't get me wrong, Sting is not far from what Nature Boy is doing. You know, he's a guy that was very close to Ric Flair in the NWA, WCW days that Rick brought up into the game with him. Okay, he is a testament to when you are involved with someone like Ric Flair, you can only be just as great or greater. So again, I feel like this is just him just paying the business back, paying, you know, this is the final set of dues that he's gonna pay. He's gonna show you just what wrestling means to him. That's what I get from this at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it.
I want to open that up to chat. Okay, chat. What do you guys think about Ric Flair getting back in the ring? And I'll give my kind of final take on it, and we'll see if anybody else has anything else they want to put in. But it's the passion. You see the passion. He's not just getting in there because we know he has never done anything. He will never do anything to make this business look like a circus, like Big Stan said. And I'm sure Big Stan knows that he would never do anything like that. So I fully trust anything that he may want to do. You know, we all pray that he doesn't get hurt, you know, nothing like that. There's a big risk with anybody. Obviously, he's older, like I said earlier, but I respect that he's going to go ahead and do that. And I'll be tuning in if I can, for sure, 100%. And like Darren was saying, it's not just his moves that made him so good. It's his personality. It's his in-ring persona. It's the larger than life. He can still bring that larger than life persona and personality into the ring all day, every day. And if you can do that, you still have, in my opinion, you still have a legitimate reason to give something back to the business of wrestling.
That's what it's all about. It's all about making sure that the fans are happy with spending their hard-earned money to come out to see you, come out to see me, come out and enjoy what we do. That's my philosophy. You know, and again, I absorbed a lot of that from the Nature Boy. I have no lie to tell. And you know, this is how natural it is for me. I was given the well, I don't know what I guess the alias of the Nature Bro. Let's say that by another
hey,
man.
but
That
yeah, I do want. I'm sorry to interrupt, but just to touch on Nature Bro. Okay, I wanted to let everybody know BSH TV with two exclamation points on YouTube. We do a show over there called Wrestle Chat Wednesday, and it was made known to everybody last show we did a couple weeks ago. The Big Stan was approached with that persona of the Nature Bro, and dude, that's one of the baddest ass catchphrases I've ever heard. So I wanted to let everybody know where I heard it from. Go ahead, go ahead, take that away if you will, please. I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, man. You know, the other there's actually another Nature Boy by the name of Paul Lee who resides in Ringo, Georgia. They just had a Wrestle Jam event out there, and he was a guy that when we crossed paths, he gave me the alias of the Nature Bro, and I try to take that and you know, of course, I take it with nothing but the utmost gratitude and respect, and I try to incorporate that however possible, you know, because a lot of people actually, you know, they appreciate my work with promos and things like that. But again, all of that would not be possible had it not been from studying guys like Nature Boy Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and all the guys, you know, from the NWA days that were really good on the mic, you know. And again, you know, it's just a matter of showing the utmost respect to someone that, you know, the magnitude of Nature Boy Ric Flair, because I know what wrestling means to him, and I know the mindset that has driven him to do what he's about to do.
Yo, I think you said it best. I think that his life has been a testament to wrestling, right? Like wrestling has, he said it himself, wrestling has given him so much that he's always tried to give it everything he had. And it's whether it's coming back from the plane crash, you know, carrying the WCW, NWA, you know, his whole travels back and forth. Like he's even said himself, he sacrificed family, he sacrificed friends, he sacrificed everything for wrestling. And so if anybody can figure it out how to make this work, is Ric Flair. Don't get me wrong or whatever. So like I think that nobody else could do this besides him. Like, you know, nobody else could finish it up like this. You know, Lawler wrestles right now. On Rock and Roll Express, like I said, it's still wrestle right now. Midnight Express do, you know, before Bobby Eaton passed, you know, Dennis Condrey and Stan were doing some stuff. Well, Dennis Condrey more than anybody else. But like big names from the 80s and 90s were doing stuff. Even Scott Steiner, like Diamond said, but nobody could do it like the Nature Boy. You know what I'm saying? And so like I know he's gonna make it. He's gonna make it do what it do. And so like the things like Diamond just said, he won't do any major bumps or jumps or whatever, but he'll put his all into it. And I'm sure he has a way to he's gonna make it a fantastic show, however he does it. And it's gonna be interesting, like you said, Big Stan and Pat, to see how he reworks it, right? How the angle he reworks this from. He works.
Well, by, you know, just by the footage that him and Jay Lethal released here recently, by him taking the body slams that he took, it let me know that, hey man, he's ready. He's ready. You know, he doesn't have to show or prove anything else to me after seeing him take those body slams. He took them. Like he took them and he popped back up, got right back to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that that I'm watching, that I know firsthand what goes into that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, okay, if he was able to do that, I'm sure he's able to go into a match and just rock the house. He's gonna put on a clinic. And his mindset, you know, I've listened to him talk about this. You know, he's got his pacemaker set to where, you know what I'm saying, He's taking a body slam, the pacemaker didn't come unwired or whatever. So, in his mind and in his heart, he feels like he can at least go into this thing 100%, mind, body, and soul, ready to put it all on the line. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, all the main concerns that we have, if he doesn't have them, then the best thing for us to do is just go ahead and get ready, buckle up, and enjoy the ride, because I just know what's in this man's heart. You know what I'm saying? He wants to go out there one more time, and he wants to do it. He wants to do it, and he wants to do it to the fullest. So, again, I'm motivated at the fact that he still has this drive about him at 73 years old. It's something to be inspired by as men, if you look at it.
I had a question. You had a point. If he rocks this, like, everybody, like we feel he will, do you think this will really be his last match, or do you think he try to spend it into something else?
Man.
Who? Hey.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Go ahead, man.
Who would want the roller coaster ride to end? That's all I'm going to say. But go ahead, Big Stan.
I knew actually during WrestleMania 24 when he had his last WWE match that wasn't it. Hell, I knew when he had his last WCW match in 2001 that wasn't it. I even knew that when he had his last match in 2011, that wasn't going to be it. And to be honest with you, if he survives this and he lives another 5 years from now, and he still feels as if he's physically able to crawl into a ring and do at least 3/4 of what he's going to do in July, I do feel as if there is a strong possibility for another return / farewell match part 2. Just put it like that.
You can't keep the heart of the lion down. You know what I'm saying? It beats, man. And like I said, I got respect for him. If he feels like he's up to it and he has the love and the passion, then hey, I'll support him all the way. I know there's people that have different views, and that's fine. We all got different views, man. No worries. But I definitely wanted to show that, hey, good luck to you, sir, and we will be behind you 100%, no matter the outcome. That's the way I look at it.
Again, he specified it's not for the money. He doesn't need the money. It's not for the fame, quite naturally, because he's about as famous as it can get for a professional wrestler.
Right.
I just think that at this point, man, it's just about him having something inside that he's got to prove to himself, more or less than anything. And I just really do feel as if ultimately it's something on his conscience that he wants to do to give back to the business. He's already explained how he just wants to go in there and show a lot of these modern day guys and women is watching. He wants to show you what a real, true professional wrestling match is supposed to consist of. And I know exactly where he's coming from, because I know what it takes in order to pull off a successful wrestling match. A lot of these people that we see, I don't care if it's WWE, AEW, whatever you want to bring them all on, but one reason why people are turning away from wrestling is because these people that's in the ring performing, a lot of them don't even know what it takes in order to keep the people locked in. And so he's trying to take things back to basics and show everybody and put on an exhibition to the point to where people can, if you know what you're looking at, you will fully understand that this is how it's supposed to be. And again, that's another reason for me to applaud him for feeling, the need to go back in there and do this for him, from him personally.
Well, all right. I want to we got another topic we're going to hit, but everybody go show some support for Dare2727. Darren over here, that's his YouTube channel. Man, go over there, sub him out, like some shit. Hey, smash the balls out of the like, bro. Smash them balls, bro.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And we got big BSH TV over here, man. Yeah, there you go. Over here, man. Go over there and show him some love if you're not subscribed, bro. The first ever
Texarkana champion
for the Southwest Pro Wrestling. Look at that, man. Look at that. They're a natural, son. They're a natural. Bro. That's right. He is the straight up chase, the working man's champ, son. Hey, M3 says I'm sub. Good.
Thanks,
man.
Marcos, man. I love your channel too, man. I'm a huge fan of your channel, so thank you for that.
Bro, who doesn't love M3 reviews, man? Hey, bro, I told you. I had my fix in years, bro. I got to go watch all your old content to get my M3 fixes. So what the fuck? Come on, son. Get it out there, bro.
Hey, man, when it comes to Dare 2727 M3 reviews, all I got to say is more than meets the eyes, baby. Robots in disguise, baby.
Okay, with you saying that, Big Stan, I've been working on a video since Sunday. I've been putting in some work on this video, bro. When you just said robots in disguise, baby, more than meets the eye, baby, you'll find out why I was laughing so hard when you see that video, bro.
Right on. Shout out to my man Sardo as well. Another one. Yeah, one of our big time Transformer guys out there.
Yeah. All of us do so many things, and we don't get pigeonholed into just one thing. We're people in general. We got all kinds of things we love, and we will not be held down. Smash the bangers. He's got the extra meat pizza for you, and he's got the belt to prove it. That's right, Diamonds. Big Stan, son. Big Stan.
Right on, Diamond.
Big Stan got the extra meat pizza, extra large meat pizza delivery.
Oh, man. I like that.
All right, so our last topic is still about Ric Flair. Why does the WWE only acknowledge him being a 16-time world heavyweight champion?
Darren, what do you got for that before I touch on it? I want to get your take on that first.
So by my count, he was a 20-time champion. I remember him hitting 20. It may have been more, but I remember him hitting 20. I think a lot of that is just them not wanting to fully recognize other promotions, especially like kind of with the full, because they were, they rival with Jim Crockett promotion in NWA, and they don't want to recognize all his title changes and stuff like that. And some of the stuff he did, a lot of people don't know he did stuff in Japan, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't recognize the stuff he did in Japan. And so I understand when you are the WWEF, whatever you want to call yourself, that you want basically your title reigns to be kind of the only ones that really matter as you try to kind of rewrite their history. But in my mind, Ric Flair is an over 20-time world heavyweight champion. And I think they try to just kind of brush off those Jim Crockett NWA years or whatever. So that's my initial thought of it. What about you, Big Stan?
Yeah,
let me go ahead and address this. Sorry.
Oh, sorry about that.
Jeff Roma says, have they scheduled the Ric Flair match yet? It's supposed to be for July 31st at the Nashville Fairgrounds at 6:05 Eastern Standard Time, sir. Sorry, go ahead. What's up, Pop? Pop the trunk. Pop's in here. Go ahead, Big Stan.
Yeah, I'm right along the lines of there on that right there, man. From my knowledge, it's speculated to be. It can be argued that it's over 20, but officially, if you're gonna get a majority count in there for a lot of people to compare notes off of, it sticks around at 20, about number 20. But
22.
Yeah, like number 20 is pretty much gonna be the number that is probably the one that you can probably lay more confirmation on. But that's a good philosophy that Mr. Dare just hit us with. You know, it could be that the WWE doesn't want to recognize some of the other promotions or whatever. Now, the Jim Crockett stuff and the NWA, you know, the championship like that, WCW championship, I think are actually the ones that they are referring to. But still, you know, yeah, like those other four is definitely like it's going to be some NWA stuff that some kind of way technically was not counted because the matches weren't. I'm not gonna say the matches weren't recognized, but I guess because whoever the opposing title holder was, I guess in the fashion that they had to give lose the belt back to Flair. I'm sorry, Derek. Go ahead, brother.
No. You mentioned world class a while ago, and Kerry Von Erich, my favorite wrestler of all time. But like, if it wasn't video of Flair beating him in Japan, like that would have been the title reign that wasn't really recognized, right? Like Kerry only held the belt for 1 week. So you get some of those where it's like, hey, we're going to put the belt on this person that's a tribute to somebody else, or just to make this promotion, you know, back when the NWA was composed of a whole bunch of smaller promotions, right? So Kansas, you said Mid-South, right? So let's just say they put the belt on, like, they didn't do this in real life, but let's just say they put the belt on the Junkyard Dog to make Bill Watts happy. Give him the belt for a week, Flair come back and beat him for the belt, right? Like, they're not going to, WWF, whatever, they're not going to recognize that as a real title defense, right? As a real title change, because basically they just did that to appease somebody, right? So like, kind of to your point, a lot, especially those that aren't televised, right? Like a lot of those old matches that you can't find video of or confirmation of, I can see how like they won't count that, even though it will be counted kind of in the NWA record books. They'll look at it like, man, whoever wrestler B was only held the title for a week or 3 days, and then Flair came right back and beat him. So we're not gonna count that as an official title change or whatever. So
yeah, and then too, it's kind of it's actually good that WWE is actually recognizing any of the NWA Jim Crockett promotion accomplishments of Flair, because if you notice, they never really if you find any type of reference for him, Dusty Rhodes, and even R-Truth, okay, to me, R-Truth's NWA title reign is probably the most significant of the three that I'm mentioning right now. Yeah. They never give any type of recognition, any type of accolades or whatever. They try to overlook that, and to me, I think that is I don't approve of that. I'll just go as far as to say it that way. I don't approve of that, because if you're not going to place your title on this man, at least recognize the other accomplishments that he was able to, you know, to have in other companies or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because R-Truth, from the looks of it, will never be WWE champion. His NWA title reign is going to be his biggest championship accomplishment. So therefore, why can't we recognize that no matter where he goes?
Especially because the WWF essentially own most of those properties, right? You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't take away from them by recognizing these people, right? Like R-Truth, WWE, like it makes him look bigger when you come to the ring and say R-Truth, 24/7 champion, 20-time 24/7 champion, 4-time NWA champion, longest in, like it makes, in my mind, it makes him look better as a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's, you know, up until AEW, right? AEW was what, 2 years old, year and a half, 2 years old. Up until AEW, you had really no competition. So there's no reason to not give everybody full accolades and full awards, because you were really competing against yourself at that point. So, like, I agree with you. I know they did that with Dusty Rhodes. I know they said he was a 3-time world champion. He's a 4-time world champion. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they always try to cut you off one or whatever. And I just don't understand it, because they for better or worse, they own wrestling up until the AEW came to challenge them. So like, there's no reason to kind of short all these other promotions. And to me, it makes you look better by giving them more, you know, their full list of accolades or whatever. So, but that's just my 2 cents.
Look at these guys holding down the fort while my fucking internet takes a shit. God damn it, dude.
And what happened?
Dude, Everything just went dark, bro. What up, DFS? DFS Infinity's in the house, bro.
DFS, 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 DFS.
So yeah, that's right. I think it's healthy to have competition. In my opinion, it's just my opinion. My opinions don't always mean truth. They just are what I think until somebody comes along and tells me something so I can understand differently. Their product has gotten better, in my opinion, since AEW's popped around. You know what I mean? You have to have somebody that drives you to be harder, faster, stronger, better. You just have to, man. You just sit over there and think you're the top shit and somebody comes after you, man. But I think you guys covered it well about the titles. So I think we're about done with that conversation there. But look at these guys, man. Professionals here. I'm pissed off about this internet. Come on, AT&T. Come on, man.
Man, was Marcos able to get back in?
Yeah, he's been in. Have you? Yeah.
Okay.
He's over here pimping Pop the Trunk toys. Everybody subscribe to Pop the Trunk toys.
Yo, Pop the Trunk toys is a good guy, man.
In the building, baby.
Hey, just so everybody knows, I want to let everybody know that I'm repping my mans and them. Straight out of Lodi, son. Check it. Yeah. That's how we do, son. Putting the boots to Lodi, son. Shout out to Lodi and M3 and all the fam, son. So we're going to close it up with just some regular talk, and we've been on for an hour here, and it's not every day we get to be on with Darren. So if Darren can go a little bit more, Big Stank go a little more, we'll go ahead and open up to the chat. If y'all got any questions or any comments. One thing I did want to possibly talk about was, while we're on here, how much we got? We got about what, 15 more minutes, Big Stan?
Yeah, I got about 15. I got a detailed client that's trying to get something scheduled with me, and I'm gonna have to end up giving them a call. So yeah, I can do about 15 more.
Man, ring the bell for side piece, bro. That's
There
right.
it is.
This is a segment I like to call side piece, when we just want to talk at the end. And what we're going to be talking about is what everybody's favorite belt is. Whether it's maybe, for me, it's two-parter, looks and prestigious, how prestigious it is to you. So, Darren, your favorite belts in the wrestling world, what would they be? Your favorite one visually and your favorite one for prestige, the most prestigious is actually what I'm trying to get at here.
I think my favorite one aesthetically and prestige-wise is the Bigg Gold. I think to me it was the hallmark, and I remember when they introduced that belt. Like before, it was the 10 pounds of gold, and Flair used to rock that. But when they brought that Bigg Gold out, that was $40,000. Like it blew my mind. It blew my friends' mind. It blew me and my friends' minds. And like, you know, I probably was like 6 or 7 or whatever. We all wanted the Bigg Gold after that. You know what I'm saying? And so like,
big gold living, Darren. Big gold living.
Big gold living. I say that, and I'll give you a bonus belt that I always like. I always like the TV title too, just because it was a silver belt, especially with the red strap. Like it was visually kind of so much different than the other black strap gold belts or whatever. So like those two would be kind of, you know, my two belts, I would say.
Yeah, DFS says WCW HW belt 8. Darren, what was the first one you said? I missed that.
The Bigg Gold is the most like prestigious or whatever.
That's the same one the DFS is referring to.
Yeah. Right, but what's your most visually pleasing that you think?
The TV title, the NWA
okay,
TV
gotcha.
The red strap TV title.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, hey, what up? Later, M3. M3's out. Peace out, bro.
All right.
Right, Marcos.
All right, Big Stan, what is your favorite belt, and what belt do you think is the most prestigious?
Believe it or not, the Bigg Gold is my favorite. And along with the NWA Television Championship, the most prestigious as of right now, I would have to say the most coveted prize in all of the Southwest wrestling region right here before you, the first ever Texarkana Wrestling Championship. But other than that, the most prestigious title, I would have to say, would have to be split between the big gold or the 10 pounds of gold, either one of those, and the New Japan Wrestling Championship, the IWGP title.
That's a good one.
That's what's up right there, bro. That's what's up. Okay, so my favorite belt. How am I gonna word this? Let me take a drink first here. How would I word this, man? Because the most press. Go ahead. What, Big Stan?
No, I just said I'm gonna take a drink with you.
The most prestigious has to be big gold, 100%, 1000% for me. That belt was just the balls. I mean, you saw it. It just took up most of your midsection. It was all the weight, all the gold. The motherfucker that was wearing that was the man. You had the big gold, you was the man. And I thought it was great for years that it wasn't even in WWE. They had to work for that damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Big gold. Big gold is the balls. So that's the most prestigious to me. My favorite visually is tied between two. Big gold edges it out, but the smoking skull belt, I love the smoking skull belt, bro.
Belt. That's a
yes.
And I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
I like when the WWE started doing that, giving like specific champions kind of their theme kind of belts or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I thought that was so much an Austin belt, you know what I'm saying? Like it encapsulated who he was or whatever. So like, you know.
It had the size. So we're going to talk about belts here for the last 7 minutes or so. We talking belts, bro. So it had size. A good belt to me had to have some size about it, bro. Like you couldn't be the man with a small belt to me. This is my personal opinion. Another belt I did like a lot was the WWE belt, and I think it was still WWF back then. It had the wings.
Yeah, the winged eagle.
Winged eagle belt. Yeah.
That's very popular. That's a very popular title amongst a lot of wrestling fans.
Yeah. The belt you said about the New Japan, bro. We ain't tripping on that belt because that belt is tight too. Go ahead, Darren.
No, finish your point. I want to say something
else. I was done. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say another underrated belt for me, and Big Stan may remember this. Nick Bockwinkel AWA Championship. That was a big belt too. Like from a physical side point of view, that was like from a size standpoint, it was the size of the big gold before the big gold was there. You know what I'm saying? And like he carried it like Flair used to carry the big gold or whatever. I know a lot of people may not be old enough to remember Nick Bockwinkel, but when he came into AWA, you know, when he came out with his from Beverly Hills with that belt in his, because he never wore it, he always carried it in his arm like Flair. You know what I'm saying? That was a beautiful belt too. Like it's very underrated, but like I just wanted to say that one. That's an underrated one, under the radar for me. So I didn't mean to cut you.
I agree. Speaking of the AWA, that was where Ric Flair actually started.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? He's not just the WWE legend. He's the AWA legend, NWA legend, WCW legend, TNA legend. He's just a legend of professional wrestling. I just had to put that out there real quick.
Yeah. Trying to think. I will say this, and like I said, I do appreciate that their product is more entertaining to me than it has been the past couple years. But a belt I do not, it just doesn't appeal to my personal preferences, is that new blue belt they got on WWE. I just don't like them colors on the strap, bro. For some reason, that just don't work too good for me. I don't like them colors like that.
Yeah, those like I was all right with it at first, but the problem with WWE is sometimes they will keep a championship for too long, you know, before they change design. And I think that that title represented when they were advancing into the streaming services and things like that, all of the modern day technology that we have right now. That was a good belt to represent what they were doing, with the WWE network at the time and so on. But yeah, that it doesn't look like an actual wrestling championship that people are going to take seriously for very long. I'll put it that way.
Right. And that's no shade. We all got personal preference on things that appeal to our eye more than others. Not all are going to be great, man, but those are the belts. Those are the belts that I think are most prestigious and look the best, and Big Stan and Darren as well. Do y'all have anything else you want to add? Go ahead, Darren.
Jeff Brummett, I'm sorry if I messed up your name. He asked a really good question in the chat. He said, do the champs get to keep their belts? And I remember Flair got to keep his. That's when he brought it over to the WWE. When he went from the NWA to the WWE, basically because they didn't pay him, so he kept the belt as collateral. And that's when they did that angle where he was like the real champ. I don't remember if people remember that, when Bobby Brain was his manager in the early 90s. So like I would be curious, like Big Stan can probably elaborate more on that. Like, do you guys get to keep your belts? Or are you supposed to turn them in after like at a certain point in time, stuff like this? Exactly. So, you take it home with you every day, right?
Yeah, I got I mean, the only way you won't see me with this title is because I've gotten beaten for it, and I don't plan to get beat for it. But yeah, I mean, this is just the best way I can answer this question. Now you have to leave a deposit, especially if there's a good chance of you possibly leaving a company or what have you. Like if you're not contracted in to the point to where, they can depend on you to be their champion for however long, then yeah, you're definitely going to pay a deposit or something, just in case, you decide to keep the belt and do whatever with it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you definitely get to keep your championship, but there are instances where a company has to keep the title, with them. Like after a show, you got to turn it back in or whatever. You know what I mean?
And that kind of brings us full circle back to the initial topic, Pat, you had with the Sasha and Naomi, the Sasha and Naomi thing. Like there have been times where wrestlers have skipped out on the promoters and took the belt with them or whatever. I know that happened in Memphis. I remember that happened in Memphis like twice. They had to go actually borrow a belt one time because was it Dutch Mantel? It was also like somebody took the belt because they weren't getting paid. I know it happened like once or twice in Memphis or whatever. So like it's just funny, like you bring it full circle. Like sometimes people do use belts as collateral when they aren't getting paid or when they want to screw a promoter over, like in our first topic or whatever. So.
Yeah, Rick's deal with when he left the WCW for WWF and kept the big gold with him was because they didn't want to reimburse his deposit.
Yeah, see.
Right.
Yeah, Jim Hurd didn't want to honor the deposit that he was supposed to reimburse Ric Flair, which was several $1,000s. I can't remember. It was along the lines of maybe it was up there. I just put it like that. I knew it was at least like 20,000 or more, Yeah. But plus it.
I had heard somewhere that Triple H had bought the big gold from Ric Flair.
I think I want to say that's true. He does have the actual NWA/WCW big gold belt.
And where I'm almost positive I heard that was a video with Ric Flair talking about it.
Yeah,
and 100% that's who I heard talking about, the man himself.
Yeah, because WWE, they reforged the World Heavyweight Championship into their own version. It was the same design, but it was a little smaller, and it had the WWE logo at the top of it.
Negative. Don't make it smaller. Come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah, it was a bit smaller, and still it wasn't as big.
Man, All right, so we're gonna just do a small recap, and then we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. So, our thoughts on Naomi and Sasha Banks leaving. We understand that, you know, there are going to be times that people dip out. I had heard about that, and I didn't say that there was some other information that suggests, and I'm pretty sure it was from their Naomi and Sasha's camp, that they actually did that before 5 p.m. They had actually said that they did that before the show even started. So
Yeah,
WWE's official statement is they did it after the show started. So we got a little, something going on there on both sides. And
yeah.
go ahead.
No. Yeah. That was from my understanding. It happened before they went on the air. That's why they had to change up the format of the match and
Yeah.
make it into a singles competition between Becky Lynch and Asuka.
Right. But yeah, there was some information. Somebody out of their camp had said that wasn't true, and they did it before. So I don't know if you'd seen that, but I had seen that.
Okay.
Our next topic was Ric Flair. Ric Flair is going to do a farewell match in Nashville Fairgrounds, July 31st. And me and the crew support his efforts, and we support his legacy, and we respect you, sir. And good luck to you, and congratulations for everything you've done for the business. And we love you, man. We love Ric Flair here.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
The legend, the GOAT, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely. There can only be one Ric Flair, baby.
Woo! Yeah. Nobody does it like he does, bro. No one does it. Nobody can duplicate it. And our final topic was discussing our favorite belts, and it's unanimous across the board. Let's give it up for the Big Gold. Big Gold is not rivaled by any other belt, son. It changed the game when it came to drip. It changed the game when it came to the drip, bro. In the story.
And the right person was the first person to have it, the Nature Boy.
Yeah. Nature Boy, son. So, in normal fashion, like we do, before we get out of here, we're going to have Big Stan roll us out of here. But I want to give a huge shout out to chat. Everybody in chat, man. We shouted you out earlier. I do appreciate everybody. Y'all the best chat on YouTube, bro. Along with Big Stan's chat, along with Darren's chat. Y'all just bangers across the board. And with that being said, Darren, man, I really appreciate you being on. Bro, you a professional, bro. You took the whip every time, sons.
Thank you guys for having me on. Big Stan, much love. P.A.K, much love. Salute, man. 3 live stream. You already know what it is. The Southwest Pro Wrestling first ever Texarkana champion. It's a winning combination. You guys always make it happen.
Man, Darren fire, bro. Darren impressed me so many times. You impressed me on your channel. You impressed me so many times here, bro. I was in cruise control tonight. Y'all killed it, man.
Oh, man. Thank you for having me again. I enjoyed it. I really appreciate it.
Hey, let me see that shirt you're wearing. Let me see. What's that shirt you wearing, bro?
It's a Big Stan Harris.
Oh, man.
Whoa. I got to turn the right way. The full shirt. The first ever Texarkana champion for Southwest Pro Wrestling. Not lose that belt.
Man.
Don't go against
it.
It's time to bang one out. Bam. Give him. All right, send us out of here, Big Stan.
All right, man. Just want to say thank you to my man, my brother, the Mangler and the Strangler, the Pack Attack, aka Pack Dog, aka Mr. Bang One Out. Thank you to everybody that tuned in here tonight on the 3 live stream. Thank you to Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, and all of the wrestlers that came before me. Thank you to everybody that is in full support of Southwest Pro Wrestling. Thank you to my man, Dare 2727, my good brother from another mother. Thank you for joining us tonight. Man, this was a blast. I hope we get a chance to do it again real soon. And again, to everybody out there, continue to support 3 live stream. Continue to support Dare 2727. And thank you for supporting BSH TV and Big Stan Harris. And we're going to catch you guys on the next round. I don't know if it's going to be here. I don't know if it's going to be the Wrestle Chat Wednesday, but I do know that it is going to be somewhere. So, whatever you do, get yourself ready because you already know that it's really going down, baby. And with that said, y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what to do. And we are up out of here like last year. See you when we see you, baby. Yeah.